Hey guys, I'm back with a new video on Introduction to Azure Redis Cache. The agenda of this video is what is Azure Redis Cache for, key features, how to use Azure Redis Cache, and then there'll be a demo showcasing how you can use it in your applications. So let's jump to the first, what is Cache for Redis is. So it is a fully managed high-performance caching service provided by Microsoft. The purpose of this service is to improve the performance and scalability of your cloud-based applications. It works as an interface in between your application and your databases and is able to process large volumes of application requests, keeping data in memory. So thereby providing a low latency and high throughput service. Azure offers both OSS-based Redis, that is open source Redis, and a commercial product, that is enterprise Redis. It can be used as a distributed data or content cache, a session store, a message broker, and more. It can be deployed standalone or it can be deployed along with other Azure database services such as Azure SQL or Azure Cosmos DB. Now look at the key features. So first of the key feature is in-memory data storage. So Azure provides a cache stores that data in memory, providing fast read and write access compared to traditional disk-based storage solutions. It supports various data types such as strings, hashes, lists, sets, and stored sets, allowing for versatile and data storage and manipulation capabilities. It also supports replication, allowing you to create replicas of your cache for high availability and fault tolerance. This ensures that your data is still accessible even if one of the cache nodes fails. Azure Redis Cache offers both RDB, that is Redis Database Backup, and AOF, append-only file persistence options, ensuring that your data is durable and can be recovered in case of failures. It supports clustering, allowing you to scale out your cache by distributing data across multiple nodes. This helps in handling large amounts of data and high request loads. It provides various security features, including SSL/TLS encryption, access control using firewall rules, and Redis auth authentication, ensuring that your data is secure. These key features work together to provide a high-performance, scalable, and reliable caching solution for your applications in Azure Redis Cache. Now let's look at how to use Azure Redis Cache. So these are a few steps that you need to perform in order to create the Azure Cache service in your Azure portal. First is you have to look in the marketplace for Azure Cache for Redis, create an instance out of that service, and configure the cache settings like size, pricing tier, etc. I would recommend you to follow the steps that is there in the Microsoft Learn page for doing this. Then, once your service is up and running, you can access the cache from your application using the Redis client library, which we'll see in a moment. And then you can use Redis commands to store and retrieve data from the cache. So let's jump to the demo now. In this sample application, we are using Redis and we'll be like adding, removing, and clearing the items from the Redis cache. So for doing that, first thing is you have to install the Redis dependency. For that, you'll write pip install Redis. Since I've already installed it, so for me it says requirement already satisfied. But you'll have to install it and then you're good to go. Now we'll first look at the cache service. So in this file, I wrote few functions like set item, get item, remove items, and clear cache data. So basically in this file, we are using the strict Redis class to instantiate the Redis client. Here, the host, port, and password, all these fields you have to populate based on the properties of your Azure Redis account. So for example, in case your DNS name has mydns, then your host will be mydns.redis.cache.windows.net. Similarly, port number you will get from the properties page of your Redis account, and password you'll replace it with your access key. For me, I've taken it as localhost 5002 because I'm using a Docker container. That is exposing the 6379, which is the default port for Redis on 5002. There's no password required for me because it's a local machine. Now, once your Redis client is ready, then we can see that there's a set item, which will basically help you to insert a record in the Redis cache. So for that, we use Redis client.set method. So in this, you have to pass the record's ID, which can be used uniquely to identify a record in your Redis cache. So for example, in this, we are using the item ID as a unique value to get the item, or basically to set the item in the Redis cache. Now to get an item, we have a function here, getItem, which basically returns the item post querying it using the ID field in the Redis cache. So here we have a get method of Redis client in which you can pass the record ID, which is uniquely identifying your records in the cache to get it, and then you'll have to decode because all these records were stored in form of bytes. So you'll have to decode once you get the result back. So after decoding, you can send the result back to the calling function. And to remove a record from your cache, we have a remove item function here, which will basically use the ID as a unique identifier to get the record from cache and delete it. And then we can use the delete method of Redis client class to delete the ID, or basically to delete the record using the ID that we are passing here. Now, to remove multiple records from your Redis cache, you just have to pass multiple IDs in the form of tuple. So we are getting some IDs in the form of tuple, and then we'll pass the tuple in the delete method of Redis client to delete all the records. Now to clear or wipe out everything out of your Redis cache, you can simply call the flush all method of Redis client, and this will delete all the records from your cache. Now let's run it and see how it works. So I'll be running it using the debugger so that I can show you what each of these operations return and how it can be seen. So for example, here at first we check that the Redis client, that the Redis cluster is running on the local machine or not. So it returned true here. That means the cluster is up and running. We are good to go. Now we have created multiple items using the fakery library that we'll be inserting to the Redis cache in a moment. So let's move forward. So this is the whole data that we'll be pushing to the Redis cache. Now we'll call the set item since we created set item in the cache service. So we'll call it for all the items. Now we'll see the return result. So the list contains true for all these items. That means all these items were successfully added to our cache. Now we'll delete a record having this item ID. So we are using the remove item of cache service. So remove item returned 1, that means the record has been deleted. Now we will pick one record. So this is the record ID that we are going to fetch from the cache service. Now we'll call the method. So we got the response back and the result. Now we'll check whether the return item is same as the item we already had in our items array or not. So it returned that the return item is same as what we already had. That means we are good to go. Now we'll be clearing the Redis cache. So first we'll check the current item size in the Redis cache. So currently we have 19 items. The reason why we have 19 here is because we deleted one item in the Redis cache right here on line 28 and 29. Now we'll be deleting all the records from the cache. So let's call the clear cache data function of cache service. So let's check the final cache size. So it returned that Redis cache have currently 0 items. That means we have successfully deleted all the items that were present in our Redis cache, that is in memory database. So this is it, guys. In the next video, I'll be coming up with the caching strategies that you must use in order to improve the overall performance of your application. So stay tuned and please like, subscribe my channel.